one question the state of Kerala, the ordinary people of Kerala would be eager to have your answer. രക്ഷപ്പെടാൻ എന്തെങ്കിലും വഴിയുണ്ടോ? Is there any way out from these dire straits for the state of Kerala?
I honestly say this as a citizen of India, coming from South India, with relatives who had lived here. Even today we have some relatives, and being from the neighboring state of Tamil Nadu, have a lot of connections with Kerala from my childhood. I honestly feel there should be a serious introspection. It's not to blame anybody. For the sake of the people of Kerala, let us restore some balance, restore some order. I'll give you this example of, in 1991, India's situation was dire economy. The IMF was asked to give some relief, International Monetary Fund. We couldn't pay for our imports. We didn't have foreign exchange at all. We asked the IMF to come and give relief. The Marxists won't like IMF or World Bank, but still I am saying you needed somebody to come and give relief. No somebody will come to you to give relief without putting some condition. He will say, I will give you money, but get your house to order. This is not the way it can be. That is an external agency telling you. Ideally, without having this difference between, oh, that is a BJP Modi government and this is so Marxist heroes, that approach won't help. If you are able to sit and work out with the center, I am not saying come and work out, please, that is your mercy, do it, don't, but you are answerable to the people of Kerala. And I honestly want to say, there are states which say, please advise us as to how to go about it. We give them advice, we do not give them money, we do not have that kind of a spare money to say, oh, he came and said hello to me, oh, he came and gave me some, rishwat, so I have to give, none of that. But we help in restructuring, we help in putting some order, we help by saying, please do it like this, there can be some kind of a way in which you can work out so that your people are not hurt. We can all work together and do it. No, because I hate Prime Minister Modi and BJP, they should be there for me to point, a finger and accuse them, but I will not seek their advice. I will even go to the court about them. Please go, I have no problem. And I will stand anywhere in any street in Kerala and keep a translator next to me to put it all in Malayalam, because I wish I understand every word of Malayalam, but I can't speak. But I will have somebody next to me and say that not one day have I delayed any payment. Not one payment has been, half the payment, not full payment. No. I have borrowed and given states, but I have never said I do not have the money. So, I can confidently tell you that I will stand anywhere in Kerala as finance minister of this country and say, I have not discriminated against any state.
There has been reports about Kerala losing out on several central projects, aids, schemes because of pure procedural lapses. Offhand, would you be able to shed some light on that?
Yes, there are one or two cases which I can probably say, but instantly I may not be able to tell you the amounts or whatever. But they don't come up with professionally done, professionally meaning you don't need to hire somebody, your own bureaucrats are trained for it. If other states and their bureaucrats who are also trained in the same Mussoorie Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy, your bureaucrats can also do it. Proper approaching with the proper details does not happen, timely certification of utilization does not come, in time approaching for a central scheme does not happen, closer to March and then you say I applied but you do not give, by March 31st it is all over the year and so on. So, yes, there are instances where Kerala
including the UGC aid, huge UGC, yes, which should have come back. The condition was that we should have paid them and then claimed as a reimbursement. We didn't pay and now we are complaining we did not get it. I mean, there is no point
and
going.
This is Kerala which boasts about education, yes, and you are not getting money from UGC.
So, we'll come back into the state and the elections. How will Trivandrum benefit, should the constituency elect the NDA BJP candidate, and what is in store for the capital constituency of Kerala?
First thing, in all probability, which is almost 100% probability, let us say 99% probability, 1% being put for everything else, but I am 100% sure Prime Minister Modi is coming back. Who is your candidate? A sitting minister. Who is your candidate? A person from Kerala. Who is your candidate who set up a business in Kerala earlier and knows about how industry, setting up, running a successful business and so on. So, you have a candidate who is hands-on about business, about technology, about Kerala, and who feels for the state and who is a minister there. So, Trivandrum will benefit by electing him, who will be a part of the short government which is coming to play with Prime Minister Modi, which means attention for technology coming into Kerala, attention for startups who need to have that kind of a support from the center, attention also because he understands how business has to run here. With their problems, he can approach the government and say, this is where Kerala is deficient, will you please do something? Why can't it be done now? It can be done even now, even with a communist government. It can be done now even with a Congress person in a communist ruled state of Kerala and a BJP ruled government in center. It can happen even now, but efforts are not being made. And I will say this both of the MP and of the government in Kerala. So, when you have somebody who is going to be, I am keeping my fingers crossed, I have no authority to comment who the ministers will be in the next term, but a sitting minister now getting elected will certainly make Trivandrum in the heart of policy making.
You have answered this question, so I'm going back to the original simple question. You said you're not contesting these elections because you don't have funds. Two, you've also given certain other indications, like there has been demands. I'm sure you were on the wish list of Kerala as far as the state party was concerned. I've heard, this is not a PR attempt to, to humor the guest. I've heard discussions outside. There were, you were on the wish list of Tamil Nadu, you were on the wish list of Andhra Pradesh, but you came up with a very disturbing answer in the sense, you don't want to go to the electoral fray and say that I'm from this community or she is not from that community. So, I found it very disturbing. Could you shed some light? Could you elaborate on that?
Well, I don't know if I did say what I said. I am not denying it. In an electoral fray, the winnability question is a very important question wherever it is. And in placing a candidate, winnability is determined by so many different factors. I do not have a dispute with that. But the winnability question is also something which has to be answered for the party and for the candidate. Otherwise, you do not have confidence in bringing that candidate down to the ground and say, yes, now you start running. In my case, I perceived, I underline, I perceived that in my case, whether it is being a woman, your community, your caste, your religion, everything can go not in my favor, is my perception. Party may not see it like that. Party might still say, no, at least if 4 factors are there, 2 can be overcome, 2 others can be overcome. That is further calculation. I have not gone into that. My perception was, it may pose difficulties. So I did not even want to get into that fray and see if I am fitting into the net. So I said, thank you. And I am indeed very grateful to my party, particularly President Nadda, for leaving it there.
So, you've never called a spade anything else. Well, there has been taunts from the DMK, obviously expectedly, saying that it's not because you're not having funds. Why do you need funds to contest an election? You're running away from the people. It came from the DMK spokesperson. I'm not taking the name because it may confuse some of the viewers with another person of the same name.
Well, okay, they are in the opposition, they like to use it. They also say you've never contested an election, you always went through the indirect route and so on. but a party which worked under Dr. Manmohan Singh, who was a member of the Rajya Sabha, who rose to become Prime Minister, and in whose cabinet you as DMK members sat as cabinet ministers. Find it objectionable that somebody else also from the Rajya Sabha is the finance minister today and she is not contesting the election? Really? Why did you sit in Dr. Manmohan Singh's government then? You should have said, oh, you Prime Minister? No way. You are coming through the indirect back door. The Constitution allows members of the Rajya Sabha to be ministers. Are they questioning the Constitution? And if they had that kind of a sensitivity, they shouldn't have been members of the Dr. Manmohan Singh government. They shouldn't have been in his cabinet. Saying, hooray, we are all, brave Tamil soldiers from the DMK. There are Tamil soldiers everywhere. Good people, honorable people, and logically thinking people. You should have left Dr. Manmohan Singh's government, saying, how can we be there with somebody who's come through the back door? When it is Nirmala Sitharaman and when it is Prime Minister Modi's cabinet, you're wagging your tongues. Ask yourself, why did you sit with Dr. Manmohan Singh? Was he not from the so-called back door? The Constitution allows it. Don't mislead people is what I would say.
What is the USP of the Modi government? Is it Prime Minister Modi ji himself?
Undoubtedly. I think it is India's fortune, and I am saying this consciously. There can be rationalists who can tell me, why is a minister talking like that? There can be rationalists who can tell me, oh, she is in the cabinet and therefore she is talking like a chamcha. No. I honestly do think this country is blessed that at a time like COVID, at a time when the global economic crisis is unabated, at a time when there are 2 wars happening, at a time when there are disruptions for basic supply of even fuel or food, India is the fastest growing economy. World leaders respect our Prime Minister, and world leaders are seeing how India is rallying behind our Prime Minister, that today we can confidently say we will be the leading economy in the next few years as well.
2 questions. From a borrower to an influencer in geopolitics, in world economy. So what is the trajectory? I mean, what was the trajectory and how was it charted?
India's growth? Several things I would say. Consultation, going deep into details before taking a decision, bringing stakeholders for every such decision making process, and being receptive to the needs of India. Not textbook based solutions which many people keep telling us, print money, give it during COVID. No, you will never be a manufacturing place. India cannot aspire. India can't aspire to be. We are not listening for only such voices. We listen to them, analyze them, also keep the stakeholders about what is unique to India, what is the strength of India, why some of this advice may not work out. And then only the call is taken. And in this, Prime Minister himself sits for every such discussion. It may sometime run to 3 hours, it may sometime run just 1 hour. But each time till the final call is taken, he is there, most often hearing rather than interrupting, and then the call is taken. So that is why I think India's solutions are India's own solutions, understanding the best practices which are happening all around the world and taking them on board.
And on the global front, we've had offers from people who were willing to be moderators to sort out issues between India and Pakistan, to intervene in Kashmir and help us. Now we see a world order wherein countries are calling upon India and the Prime Minister to intervene in disputes between other nations. Isn't that like a
sea change? A sea change in the perception about India, perception about India's leadership, the credibility individually of the Prime Minister, that he is a man committed to his people, puts his nation's interest on the top, doesn't compromise on the national interest, keeps India's interests in global fora, makes sure that he puts his case forward forthfully, forcefully, and for India he would do anything. So people understand. Even sometimes when we take a call, which people see, oh wow, what is this? You've taken a position like this. Why did you take? It is not historically a position. No, with clarity, Honorable Prime Minister puts forward his position, saying this is in the best interest of India, therefore I take this position. It is not against you, it is not against you, it is not against somebody else. It's my country's interest. That paradigm shift, that India has to look for its own people's interest rather than be seen with friends or foes, or even with countries which are, oh, those set of countries are aligning like this, not these set, so I have to be with them. No, I will be with them, provided that's of benefit for India. So that clarity in putting your ideological position forward, but nothing beyond India is my point, is what Prime Minister is known for, and therefore people respect him. Because he has not worked against anybody, but he works for India.
Now, the cliched claims of any government over the periods was look at the standards of living going up, look at the, poverty coming down. There were no tangibles really. Those were claims or trends or indications. But right now we are talking in terms of tangibles, like
Absolutely.
look at the number of projects that have come up, look at the number of bridges that have been built, look at the number of roads, new roads, linking unbelievable places like Mumbai and Navi Mumbai at, for me, somebody who has stayed and worked in Mumbai, I couldn't believe when you say that you can travel from Central Mumbai to Navi Mumbai in 20 minutes time. Now, has there been a master plan for this? Like, because the claim of the Prime Minister or the NDA has been that if Prime Minister Modi lays the foundation stone for a project, he himself
inaugurate.
Yes. So what we'd like to know, even for the people.
It goes per a master plan. It goes per, first of all, in 2014, the approach that the Prime Minister said, don't go in for new promises of new lines. Since India's independence, look at how many were offered. Different railway ministers promised, I'll open a station here, I'll put a line here, I'll lay a bridge there. But foundation stones were laid, but work was not completed. In fact, one of the first things that Honorable Prime Minister said in 2014 was, don't give up, go and give new promises. Pick up everything, irrespective of who had put that promise forward, who laid the foundation, irrespective of it. Have them completed. And only then start anew. Which happened. And now when we are saying, even for Kerala, was it 56 railway stations which are going to be renewed? Why is that happening now? What was that Kollam bypass? Since my birth, I think it has been waiting to get completed.
Yes.
You need a Modi to complete it. You had Dr. Manmohan Singh. You had at least 12 ministers from UPA, in UPA from Kerala. Kollam, everybody passes through, yeah. They didn't think it's got to be finished. So, the approach is, if I am stuck on ego that it was done by some Kerala minister who belonged to Congress, or it was done by some minister from Rajasthan who was also from Congress, the country will not go forward. Irrespective of who put the foundation stone, get the work done, move forward was the approach PM took. And that's why I always say, he openly says, and in the cabinet meeting several times he said, I don't want any one state to be a laggard. Do everything to make sure that every state is brought forward to become at par with one another. Otherwise, India will just be dragged backwards. That's not a partisan approach. That's not a stepmotherly approach. That is saying, come, all of you all will have to rapidly move. We've lost 70 years. We have to go forward now. That's the approach he takes.
Since you mentioned the Kollam bypass, Prime Minister Modi inaugurated, or the NDA government inaugurated it, and then the poor MP from UPA, N.K. Premachandran, he is still struggling to say that no, I have not switched side, because Modi ji had also invited him to the pre-election.
He's a very good parliamentarian. I must put this on record. He's always in the house. He takes up issues, but unfortunately he's in a wrong coalition.
Now moving on to the new goals that have been set. Now we are talking now about getting into the top 3 in the world economy, about a 5 trillion economy and then a 7 trillion economy. Which are the sectors, would you be able to tell us, would be contributing the most to this?
So first of all, every sector will have to expand, every sector will have to grow, and every sector will have to become so large enough that they can compete with the global big. Small is beautiful, I agree, but for the sake of scale advantage that you need, economies of scale as we call it, you need to grow. India is a large country, you need bigger banks, bigger industries, bigger units and so on. So that is the foundation. Other than that, the traditional industries will go, traditional industries will also go on, manufacturing will go on, but the newer sunrise sectors will get a lot of priority, whether it is renewable energy, whether it is rare earths, whether it is advanced chemistry, whether it is artificial intelligence, whether it is semiconductor, whether it is looking at newer materials which are required. Look at the way in which India alone, whether it is 2 or 3 private sector companies, airlines companies, have placed orders for 600 aircrafts. Our airline sector is growing so much. Now in the next few years, these 600 aircrafts are going to be delivered in India and they will be flying. We need people to maintain them, repair them and operate them and give the support systems for all of them. So there are newer and newer areas which are opening up, giving options for all of us.
Now I heard a very interesting remark in reference from you, pointing out the state of Assam in specific and the Northeast, and you talked about the semiconductor. I found it very interesting in the backdrop of the state's talent pool and its history of having a technopark. Do we have the scope or chances of having such
Absolutely,
industries?
Absolutely. State governments will have to be nimble. Prime Minister's focus to the Northeast is just unbelievable. Himself, Prime Minister himself, between 2014 and today, which is 10 years, has visited Northeast more than 60 times. Whereas I can even say Dr. Manmohan Singh was a MP from Assam. I am not sure his visits would have crossed 2 digits. It's all right, each one's approach is their own. So when Prime Minister is giving so much emphasis to the Northeast and support to the Northeast, states there are now vying for more and more activity. So with PM's support, semiconductor reached there as well, and the state government was on its toes saying I should get it somehow, and they've got it. And that's not government spending money, it's a private sector person who's gone and invested it. If it's government, you will say, oh, twin engine, double engine, and therefore you've given it there, you will not give it to Kerala. It's a private sector man, he'll come where his activity will be well received.
Why isn't Kerala getting all those?
You should know better.
I'm interviewing you.
Yeah, but you being a person here, particularly from media, you should have more information on why that inertia has set into Kerala. It's the knowledge center for India. If about Bengal people said, if Bengal catches cold, India sneezes. And if Bengal thinks of one thing today, India thinks of it tomorrow. Similar was Kerala. Thought wonderful thought occurred here. Reformatory thought occurred here. Great leadership was here. And great inclusive leadership was here. Whether it is Shankara or Ayyankali, all of them are from here. And in spite of that, there's inertia.
But we now see industrialists or investors
Running
migrating.
away. Running away.
Well, coming to the end, very interesting, most powerful political person, most powerful minister in the state. We have also seen you doing vegetable shopping. Some smart youngster would have captured you on the mobile. We've seen you travel in trains, even in Vande Bharat, the visuals. One curious to know why is that, and are you surprised by the way people come up to you and greet you and click selfies with you?
I'm not surprised, but it so touches me that people have that kind of affection and regard, and I'm so grateful for some of them who come so close to say that, because it's not easy. They can always be cordoned, they can be police, or they can be party workers, but they still come forward. And for each one of them, let me say a big thank you, because they are very motivating when they do it. You think, oh my God, who are these people? Why do they want to come to you and wish you like that? But it touches your, somewhere some chord it touches. And therefore, yes, to that extent, it motivates you to perform even better.
I know you've had a very hectic schedule. I know people are waiting for you to take you to various places. There is the India convention coming up. Thank you so much for spending so much time talking to the people of Kerala through Janam TV. Nandi, namaskaram.
And all the very best for Janam. I hope you get more and more viewers and you have great success. Thank you very much.